think everything looks fine. So closed. Okay. So see you after the game, and let's maybe play a King's Indian. So like in the past, my opponent I think mainly played e4, but like the last, they have been switching it up a lot in 45. So I assume I will face some prep. So the kings, I knew this was one of the options, and then they were mainly playing with knight f3 and then bishop g5. So I have looked a bit at that. Kind of a little bit surprised that they are taking like a tiny bit of time here already. It could be, of course, a lot of time, but even this is already quite a lot. So that would, yeah. Of course, it could be just that they were doing some stuff outside the chess. Or, yeah, there is a tiny chance, but that they did bad preparation, that they still like assumed that they would face a Grünfeld. But yeah, it's now a couple of months that I have been playing exclusively the King's Indian. So although in amount of games like the Grünfeld is still way more, yeah, at this point I think they should expect it. Yeah, I looked at this, but I made one mistake actually. I didn't check what I have played here in the past in this position. Yeah, this position I still actually also could have gone for the Grünfeld. This line I wouldn't mind that much, I think. No, in the Grünfeld, this bishop g5 lines was not that big a fan of, really. But yeah, in my preparation I could have looked at that, but I didn't. Bishop f4. Now d5. I think I play now d5. I think this is anyway the best move, and yeah, this would be, yeah, a potentially amazing Grünfeld. Like if they capture here, it's with tempo on the knight, so they can't on the bishop, so they can't really do this e4 stuff. Although, yeah, there actually, it could be that it's like there are some like gambit lines where they take this pawn. I haven't checked how it's here, but this I think this exact position is like a very theoretical position in the Grünfeld, but without h6, and I'm not 100% sure what that changes in the position. Like, I think in general it should be an improvement for me, but yeah, for example, one thing is like after king d2, now I will need to spend a tempo, which I wouldn't need to do. Could be interesting if they go for this pawn gap. Like, since there is no big weaknesses in their position. Of course, yeah, the biggest weakness is that, yeah, that they don't go for it. Probably was quite risky. But yeah, these positions, it's not like that easy, like to show the compensation. I think it's something with knight h6 usually gain another tempo. Oh, it could also. Yeah, there were multiple candidates, but yeah, we are now in another direction. I assume I now play c5. Yeah. So now we are in a very Grünfeld-type position, but with h6 included. Could also say we are in a London position, where I like already knight h5, where like this maneuver is no longer a thing after knight h5. Yeah, I think this whole line, assuming it's, I'm not 100% sure that it's like a slightly worse version of some, yeah, slightly worse for white version of some Grunfeld, and it could actually be against like 100% King's Indian players, could be a very sneaky line. But yeah, I assume a lot of King's Indian players are not gonna play d5 here. But if d5 is here the only good move, yeah, then it could be a very sneaky line. But yeah, I like have my reasons for dropping the Grunfeld, but it's for sure not that I didn't like the type of positions you get. It's more that it's yeah, I think it's just an impractical opening at, yeah, I think it's probably the most impractical at exactly the level I'm right now. Like, at that point the theory becomes really relevant, but it's too much to be practical at my level. Okay. Bishop e5. Wow. Trying to trade off this bishop. I have moves like queen a5 here. Don't think, yeah, of course a move like f6 is so, but yeah, it feels too fishy, too weakening. And I don't think I need to overreact allowing this. They lost like a lot of tempos with forcing this trade. course, like trading in the center here is an option. Trading here. Knight c6. But yeah, knight c6. We have some knight c6, take here. Take. But yeah, I assume I should have. So then this line. With the two c pawns. Yeah, I don't have like an easy way how to attack them, but it's also hard to imagine that I don't have like a full compensation there. After bishop e6, like how are they completing their development? Actually, I could even go for this pawn gap with rook d5. And yeah, here that's one of the lines where my h6 is useful. So after something, they can't like do something like bishop c4, knight g5. Of course, they still have knight e5 to attack this pawn. But, and that's... no, but yeah, knight e5, my knight is covering on c6. That's why a lot of arrows. But then, yeah, so I think I just continue developing. I assume they trade. And then we see. So I'm not... yeah, the only thing where I need to be maybe a bit afraid of is... so yeah, the other option is queen a5 for sure. But let's say they play queen d2. Then I'm forced to trade. Probably not a bad position for me, but... yeah, putting maximum pressure at their center. Okay, so what are... yeah, so this line... no, I assume they will take in between. Yeah, if they don't trade queens, I would be very happy. So I assume after taking here, they take in between. Don't have like good in between move. And I would... yeah, I'm still like bishop e6 could be just... I have long-term compensation, but maybe I just win the pawn back there with rook d5 and I just have a better pawn structure. So I don't think that position is at all risky for me. So then the alternatives are attacking my knight. I think queen b3 or bishop e6 are for sure. Bishop c4 are for sure alternatives, but after bishop c4 I could maybe play knight b6. Yeah, gain a tempo. Okay, go for rook c1, even further delaying their development. Yeah, the advantage is that after some captures on d4, this is with a check, which is slightly annoying. Also, in some cases, this pawn is actually hanging. Okay, let's say we trade here. I take, they take with the queen, and I go back. Now they have maybe... no, since now my queen is here, so there's no 94, 95 stuff. Yeah, and that's probably very equal, that position, although in the end they could be thinking about rook c7 stuff. No, since in that line the knights are not traded, so the knight is blocking the square. Since you have bishop e6, now this and taking here. Good take on here, but yeah, that doesn't feel right. Queen a5 is an option now. Yes, and with the queen maybe I could sometimes take there, although bishop b3 probably not, c4 probably not. So let's say taking here. Of course here, yeah, that's like a classical IQP position. Maybe already, yeah, maybe a favorable one for me, not sure, but at least it shouldn't be a bet. Well, we already traded one piece. Don't think my king position is any issue. So after here, I assume 94. I actually could then take here. Oh yeah, that looks actually very good for me, now that I'm thinking about it. So take here, 94, take here. And yeah, let's say they take back with the rook. Now I just trade, and like that would be quite a weak IQP, I think. The only thing is that then they have maybe bishop's rook c7 at the end, but that's not even that clear. They have that. Maybe just have rook d8 directly, targeting that pawn. Then after rook c7, I just defend this pawn, and they don't have a good way to defend this one. Probably even king f7 at that point already. King f6, yeah. And then next move, yeah, just burn a free pawn. The only way maybe they can defend is rook c4, but then bishop c4, and I think this looks. So then after this, like this in between move, I thought I can just take here. They are forced to take, and I take. I don't think they have like any in between moves with the knight, and then I'm just I change up. If I calculated that correctly, I think I do. So then after this, guess they can take here. That's the other alternative. Then I probably yeah, but now the rook is doing absolutely nothing here. Maybe move the knight, queen. No, yeah, I think I maybe play something like queen b6 then. And that, I think this looks good. Man, the issue is that they are still 2 moves away of developing, of castling. It's not that I will checkmate them, don't think, but it's mostly an issue of like completing the development. Yeah, I guess mostly it's that, right? Although you could say, equal in development since they developed this rook, but no. That should me think. At least this position looks promising that I maybe can play from some slight advantage from the black side, which of course would be a great result of the opening. Also needed for the team standings. We had a tough day yesterday, going from 1 up to 1-2 down. So with this game, yeah, almost certain like it's not at all guaranteed that one of these two teams will win the league, but the winner of this match almost certain will be in it until the very end. And then yeah, this match could be quite crucial. So here, yeah, a very natural move is bishop e6, of course. Other candidates, yeah, queen a5, but then just bishop c4, and I don't see, at that point it's not clear what my queen is doing on a5. Yeah, bishop e6, that's probably, since yeah, I was looking at bishop g4 earlier, but yeah, knight c3 is probably very strong then, since it's a temp on the queen, so they need to recapture. Although yeah, I guess they could recapture with a pawn, getting this no longer bringing an IQP, but no, that's not possible, since then the bishop is of course saying that was that was my big idea why. So after bishop e6, bishop c4, after this they can't recapture with a pawn, they need to recapture with a rook, and then trading even more pieces. And at that point even like I'm not sure what our next move is, but yeah, probably then e6 maybe, not allowing any d5. Yeah, at least that would be like an amazing IKP, even trading 2 more pieces, no of my pieces having any issue, like even the second knight could get control over the d5 square, but actually it's also very good just attacking the pawn since there is no d5 anyway. Yeah, or maybe even actually queen d5, since now the issue of the king becomes relevant, since I have checks here. So yeah, I don't think bishop c4 is a move. And if they don't have bishop c4, then like they need to develop this bishop very passively. And I'm maybe threatening also this idea to take here and take this pawn. That's also a big point of this move. And if they capture here, maybe in some lines I'm actually threatening to take here. And then, yeah, in every line, the fact that the king is for now still in the center is relevant. And I also need to be aware of what lines where they like capture here and it's with a check or in this square, of course, too. Like my king is not at all that weak on g7, but it could be the only weakness is that some moves are with check, which wouldn't be with check on these two squares. But yeah, so in some lines maybe I want to get it to h7, but also yeah, the chances, like in a lot of endgames, of course, I want it to be closer to the center, so not that high on the candidate list, but only when it's relevant for concrete lines, really. Oh, yeah, women FIDE master who is watching a lot of games and usually have like quite like interesting positive comments. And then pineapple chiffon cake, which is I think like maybe the board 8 of the opponent team, not sure. No one of my team, they are all still in bed, I guess. Lazy Americans. No, they are good. Of course, like Americans. Yeah, they could still be in bed or at work. And Europeans, of course, also still not working times. Or they have just a life, which is not allowed, but can't do anything about it. Okay, which, yeah, so here, this is one of the lines where it's very nice to have actually this pawn on h6. I'm not sure, no, not directly here, but like with the bishop on e6, always like there's always like these knight g5 things which are annoying, which now is never a thing. So now the bishop is really stable here on e6. Yeah, I think they need to like get this king out. But yeah, the problem is maybe I just take this pawn actually. Oh wow, they go for this, but I thought that was almost impossible. So what's their idea after knight c3? Like they need to. And there's not an in-between move with the queen. I don't believe in that. It sounds impossible. So then the only move is a recapture. Like they also don't have like, it's too big a tempo, right? It's a tempo on the queen. So that's actually even 93 is a move here. And it could be that 93 is actually very strong here, but it feels a little bit. Since yeah, I keep the king in the center, so but yeah, I think maybe this structure, like in some cases I weaken the structure, but I think I more improve the structure than anything. So, but yeah, it's a candidate move here, which I hadn't looked at in advance. So this, but yeah, I think this is just excellent for me. So, and I don't see any potential in between move. Yeah, and so then after that I even have queen d5, which earlier in the very beginning, I sort of discarded because of rook c5, but now it's very handy that I have a check here, gaining a tempo, and then even maybe rook d8. Yeah, no, it could be that after with rook c5, yeah, I still will need to recalculate, but since yeah, I think I always have like the safe option of e6, not making sure that there's no d5. Since in that line, maybe in the end, yeah, they have some d5. Or like, I can still play e6, but then they have d5, eliminating their weak pawn, potentially. Oh no. See, I have queen e6. Then they don't have queen e... No, they have queen e2. I'm wrong. Also, after like rook c5, maybe this pawn just hangs actually. That's probably... But again, the queen's still in the center. It's probably pretty safe. So yeah, I think this is a very safe move. So I think this is forced. Then I think I don't see a reason not to take here. I assume queen d5 next. I could like do a queen move. Yeah, they could try to trade some pieces on e5. And my queen is very nicely placed here on e5. Of course, yeah, need to like rooks on c5 or e5. Need to look out a bit for, but like the knights never really can attack my queen. I had actually also queen a5, which I was too fast with this one. Should have just played queen e5, like encapping this pawn, I think. Oh, that's stupid. Oh, yeah, that's a classical, like, see a good move, look for a better move. Queen e5 was just a very good pawn. Ah, I'm a bit annoyed with that. Since after, let's say, queen d2, queen e2 is again with this tempo, and I also have like ideas here. Maybe they should then play knight e2, but yeah, now they have queen e2, which is nice. Ugh. still could have b5. Okay, regroup. I think this maybe even be a blunder. Just think queen e5 was so strong. I think rook c8 is a logical move. See, now after rook c8, that's one of the lines where my queen on g7 is a bit annoying, since otherwise I would have like 95 IDs with like discoveries. But no, queen e5 is always with check, so that, although no, that's still, it's maybe working. Take, and then take. Oh no, since then they capture with the knight defending the rook, so no, that's no longer working. This is also not working. Oh. I guess I still have, but now queen e5 is so much worse. Like they gained this free tempo. Although I guess in some sense it's not that like easy for them to since after queen e5 they can or play queen b2, which just to transpose, or they can play rook c3 and take, and yeah, one of the, and there's still like there's no d5, the queen is defending that, so that was, or yeah, I guess, yeah, I for sure gained them a tempo, right? But yeah, no, I only, yeah, it's for sure a worse version, but if the rook needs to go to c3, then at least it's no longer defending this pawn too. The queen on a2 is actually surprisingly not at the bad at all. It's attacking this weakness on b2 and it's covering the d5 square. And it keeps their major piece a bit honest, because like I'm always looking at the back rank, and it's like not, yeah, of course the rook from c2 can challenge it, but yeah, a3 wouldn't be a good square for the rook, so that's not really an issue. And after this they now have, do they have b4, or can I just take with the knight? I think I can take with the knight, since they can't pen, but I have knight e3. using that they are pinned. Yeah. So b4 doesn't work. And yeah, the other option, 92. Now this pawn, yeah, is weaker. Take. Now d5 is an option, since my queen is not looking at that, but I'm looking. Yeah, no, I'm also attacking this pawn, although then this knight. I think more that I then can force off the queens. No, I need that line. I will need to calculate. Oh no, I can't. No. Since the knight would be blockading. And then in the end, like after d5, I move my knight, and now they have rook c7, attacking 2 pawns. But their coordination is horrible in that position, so maybe that position is still very good for me. Okay. It's completely stupid, but yeah. Oof, I need to mentally reset here. Oh, they go for b4. Wow. Like knight b4 is threatening double checks, right? So for example, a move like rook c5, I just play knight e3 and win. And if they like castle, don't have 95 there, which is a bit annoying. But maybe I just have queen e2. Although then, no, my knight is getting trapped there probably. So knight b4, castle, queen e2, rook a1. No, trade and rook a1. My knight is trapped. Although I have b5. So let's say the rook moves. Yeah, no, my knight is not trapped, but I at least lose a pawn back. Not sure if I lose 2. I think this. So I assume they castle, and then I need to look what's my next move. Maybe I just challenge the rook, right? Don't see anything wrong with that. Although then rook c1 and Or maybe I go for pinning them. Even with a move like queen e6. No, queen. I'm not sure which is the best pinning move. No, queen e6, then oh, maybe. Yeah, we will see. They could have some compensation here after castling. Also, my pawn here is hanging, actually. Well, not really right now, but okay. Yeah. Some like my queen a6, why I was thinking. Yeah, this pawn is no weakness. Also, this doesn't work. They have checks here, and then they got my hook. Yeah, I for sure gave them compensation like this, but maybe yeah, this like I give him this free move too. Okay, so 96. The issue I have is with rook c7, c5 to prepare d5 or queen e5. That looks just good. Like b5. Then they have this. Maybe at least trade one of the hooks off. Yeah, maybe rook c8 here, and now I can take here. Since there's no rook to pin. It's putting my pieces very and elf, then also taking here now. Although they then need to be very wary about their back rank. Maybe that's no. So the question now, which rook? I assume I'm gonna play. This is the natural rook, I think. It could be that I anyway just take next move and then, so it could be that is better. But yeah, keep defending the f7 pawn. Looks more useful than keep defending this pawn. And in cases where I don't trade, yeah, of course I want my both hooks here. So I think rook a is the logical move. They can like trade and take here, which it's probably just good. Yeah, this was just a very good pawn sacrifice. Knight c6, d5. No, d5. They need to first play rook c5, right? I guess I have then like queen b6 or something, or b4. Problem with that is they also are lining up this square. But then I guess I can maybe, that's the moment maybe to pin. Then they have d5. So here, this, let's say here, and also they are looking at this pawn. This. So rook c8, take here. And now a2 is still hanging, but d5, b5 too. Then maybe queen d5, nicely centralizing. With my rook on the open file. With my knight, oh no, my knight is hanging then. Ugh. Rook, no. So rook c8, trade, queen e7, rook c7. I can go for the trade, but then I take in the end. And otherwise, maybe they don't have that great squares for their queen. That's at least what I try to argue here. And they don't have a way how to defend the a2 pawn since I'm double attacking it. The only thing they can do something like queen d6. Which looks very solid. Like, do I have even an attempt? Can I try to keep the extra pawn? It looks with something like e6. Problem is rook c5. I don't think I can get on e2 because my knight gets trapped. Although, no, not, maybe not. Actually, e6, c5 here, trade, rook a1, go, and now I have the square to go back to. And also after e6 now, any rook c7 attacks only b7, which is an advantage. After with queen d2, I have knight c6, e6, d5. Maybe can just take it. Yeah. Also, my pawn is defending this now, right? And so maybe I'm sometimes preparing knight c6 without getting hit to d5. Okay, e6 is not looking that horrible. So e6, queen e5. Need to trade, of course. Knight e5. Now my knight is hanging. I know, I have knight e5 here. Stopping, crucially stopping knight rook c7. Then my position isn't... Yeah, then I'm at least a pawn up. They still have this weakness. Okay, so like, why was I disregarding e6 that much early? Not sure. And they could just double here, of course. But I have 95 then. I have them from when I have 95. Don't think that there can be that much problems. They could like do a combination of like rook c5 and then queen e5. But I don't think like there are that many problems of my king. As I said earlier, I think I could just go to h7 or even g8 if I want to keep defending the f7 pawn. And they can get in here, and then maybe they can think about some sacrifices. Although knight d5 at least kicks the queen out of f6. Yeah, it could be quite a... Maybe I'm just gonna put the king actually on g8. I think this is my main weakness. Also, I don't get like pinned here on the 7th. I need to, like, one of the teams is like the knight getting to e5 and then to d7. Like with the tempo on the queen, on the rook. So my next move, I think very likely knight d5. Like sort of, yeah, keeping the rooks from activity on the c file. Yeah, imagine. It was not even possible, I think, but maybe it was. Like this position, but with the queen on d1, like, would be so much better for me. Although then I probably don't. Then I maybe don't even play e6. No, I probably still play e6. They have quite a decent time advantage. No, I don't know if they always play very fast. You could say that I played very slow here, but I'm not sure. So the position was not that tactical. Maybe using here 30 minutes is a lot. But yeah, there are a lot of future paths where the position will become quite straightforward. Not necessarily straightforward that I'm outright winning, but where I can at least like play relatively fast. guess they have rook b1 here, which I a little bit that I didn't consider enough. Okay. Can I take here then? Don't think I can. Can I take with a knight? Probably not. Don't see the direct refutation, but it's very doubtful that it's possible. Although let's see. No, that's of course still the queen e5. Oh no, no, there's no back rank stuff then. Yeah, and also the rook just defend each other after capturing here, so rook b1, okay. Yeah, I just blundered that. But I don't think it's that. Could be that I still have an advantage then. We just then traded. We got on a typical IQP positions just with the pawns traded, but also quite a lot of pieces traded. Their pieces get somewhat active, which is not ideal. So rook b1, 95, take here. Although, is some like something I can do with queen e6, like pinning here, attacking this rook, assume at least they have something like rook b4. Then I can trade a lot of pieces. No, and rook d4 also is, my knight is defending. Yeah, okay. It's not clear actually. Where does the rook go after queen e6? Of course they have like here. But then, yeah, you can attack it. No, not here, but no, can't directly attack then again. But it has also no more squares. So yeah, if they want to trade queens, now is their moment. But then so okay, that's so queen e5, take. What was I'm going? 95 here was my d height. Okay, and after that, now I can just safely. Then the b pawn is not an issue. And that looks just a healthy pawn. Still quite some technique needed. Actually didn't look at. Well, it's like similar like my last week opponent. Although I think their habit is way higher than my last week, but also very high bullet, but not that high blitz. But yeah, I think bold blitz and rapid are higher than my last week's opponent. But like quite low blitz, I think. So the main candidate was, okay, let's calculate this one, right? 95. At any moment, like, they can include this check. After which, in most cases, I think my plan is to go to g8. Like, again, like, useful that this pawn is here. Although, of course, now, some cases, like, they can do a check here, and then go to one of these two squares with tempo. But I think in a lot of cases, like, I can just give this pawn. Like, I will usually, other pawns will be more useful than this pawn, except if they can, of course, probably not here actually, since of course, yeah, queen h4 combined with knight g5 will be some mating ideas. Although I will have often a knight on d5, so knight f6 will stop these mating ideas, and then they are, what are they, these pieces doing over there? Actually, that line knight takes here, take here. My, yeah, no, yeah, it depends where the other pieces are. There are not that many more pieces, so if there is not directly another rook on the 7th, these sacrifices really couldn't work. So yeah, let's go back to the line here. Let's say they don't include, like, at any moment they can include the check, right? But here, since I feel it's probably they need to keep protecting the rook, so where does the rook go back to? Let's say it goes back to b2, defending a2. And then I think I can, like, trade a lot of pieces of the c file, and in the end this pawn will be very weak. Will it be enough to win? Not sure, but since yeah, the bottom knights are still on the board. Also always relevant to keep in mind, but for now it seems at this point completely irrelevant, but at every point I need to make sure they back rank. There is no back rank stuff. Or spend the tempo for that. Like every endgame also, my king is way faster to the action. Or way faster is maybe an over acceleration, but at least faster. Okay, of course, in endgames it has this beautiful square, but it's often not enough to get a king to d5, because this knight defends this pawn solid. Then I see also like ideas where so we first trade a lot on the C file and then in the end I take the B file. And they can't like enter on the C file since I have a knight on D5. While I have like I can start attacking these two pawns. Of course they have, yeah, and also with a combination of the back rank. So something like 95, no, rook b1, 95, take, here, let's say they go somewhere. Even if they go to b1, I go, let's say, probably this rook. I go here, I trade. No, I guess if they... Oh yeah, they need to go here, right? And then we trade 2 times here. Since yeah, if they take with the rook, then I can have rook c8. Although that's of course one of these cases where they like this pin, they can step out of this pin with queen e5. But then in the end, yeah, then I just gain control over the c file, so. And yeah, also e2 is always hanging then. And they just don't have enough pieces to attack my king. Since I trade off at least one of the rooks. Yeah, that's like, if I can get this queen a6 with tempo, now it's, I think, almost impossible for them to. I guess, no, I see, they have, no. Yeah, no, I think it's impossible for them to avoid that I can at least trade off one of the rooks, which should be good for me. Like, it's even less attacking potential for them, and it starts getting easier to take this pawn. Although the best, like, for the best trade that I want is the knights, but that's for now very hard to do, almost impossible. Yeah, it's just not in the short term possible. Since yeah, my knight is very hard looking at d5, and then there are 2 squares diagonal, so they are very far from each other. So the only real ways how to trade them is like where both get captured somewhere else, not each other, but let's say, yeah. For example, they can take here and I can take their knight somewhere, which I have no clue where that somewhere would be, but. Yeah, they're catching up very fast sometime. I hope it's not. I should. Oh, Jokic is wakker. Wakker. Awake. That was a random Dutch word in there. What are they thinking about? Like, are they considering rook c5? So then the question after rook c5, I guess question is, can I take on e2? It would be very risky, but yeah, so let's maybe calculate it. But like any checks now, my knights will just get out, so don't think that could be an issue. So the question would be the trade. Yeah, but it's important that the rook is here now, right? Since I have this square. And yeah, then they are sort of, okay, h4. Very reasonable move. Trying to undermine my structure here a bit. I think I will for sure start with knight e5 here. And also now, like this knight f4 becomes a lot more interesting with after this h4. But yeah, this h4 also eliminated their back rank problem, so yeah, not at all. And yeah, maybe h5. In most cases after h5 I will want to play g5, and then now maybe they can think about some sacrifices. So don't dislike this move at all. Actually, I think, yeah, an extra bonus thing of this 95 is that after h5 I have knight f4, which looks very good. Double attack on the queen and the pawn. They can trade queens in, but I still can take. Then they maybe could enter, but don't think at that point that's too bad. I'm at that point already like 2 pawns up, right? So stopping this, I'm looking at this square. Okay, they can start with the check and then h5. Probably better move order. But at least now, yeah, no, maybe I have queen e2, actually. With the tempo on the rook. Yeah, there could be actually that there are some. They also have this. Now they have rook c7. No, the queen is still looking at it. Can't capture with the knight, but the queen. But at least like, so this will also pin my knight, but for very little stuff will it pin it, since it will only it's hard to imagine that that is relevant, but in some minor cases. So yeah, assume queen e5. Is this a case where this, yeah, no, since after h5 g5 now, then this diagonal opens up, so think more king g8 still than h5. What do I do? I think this. Let's say they just double. Yeah, g5. Maybe I instead want to like remove this rook, So after h5, g5, this sacrifice, it's not an automatic perpetual. Oh no, but it just goes straight h5, right? It's knight f6, my queen is bent. That's one of the cases why my queen is bent. It could be that knight c6 actually was a move that I maybe play too fast. Ah, yes, knight c6 actually made a lot of sense. Here, h5, g5, and it just, that's the knight takes. It's just at least no. It's maybe not straight perpetual, since the pawn is on h5, right? They can't check here. Okay, and I need to calculate that. So here, h5, g5, take, check. Can like one of these two squares. Yeah, there is no. What was I saying? That there is no straight perpetual there. Since there is no queen h5, since the pawn is on h5. That was a silly mistake. But yeah, of course they will have, these ideas will be very hard in the position, but just not straight away. But yeah, after here, okay, maybe I need to include here, but let's say this, now I have like knight f4 ideas, but unclear what that's doing yet. Since maybe they just sometimes just play g3 and push it back. Okay. Yes. Try. But yeah, at least yeah, now after. Although after, let's say I play g5, after knight f4, now they always have this. And then in the end my knight hangs. I have the knight g6. But yeah, that's just not enough. So I never really have knight f4. I have queen a6 followed by f6 IDs. Actually, maybe I have that in this position. It's very since capture here, think this, and don't think they have like a mate or something. So queen a6. They, let's say they play rook c1, f6. It's such a dodgy move, but if it works, it works. But yeah, I'm sort of a bit sketchy if it works. Like, what's the upside for me? Very, very limited, I would say. Maybe the best is that I could take on h5 with her pawn, but ugh. I think I really don't want to play f6 here. So yeah, think I expect rook c1. Then I'm not sure what my next move is. Do I take here? Actually, taking here, that sort of maybe prepares knight f4 sometimes. Well, I think the problem is probably then some rook here. But then I have queen here, actually. So probably not. They have this egg, but yeah, I still have my knight here, so. But yeah, now for them trading off this knight. Now I don't want to trade knights. Also, of course, 92 for now is not possible, but yeah. Guess, yeah, they can similarly do it like this. But yeah, now after here, now I have knight f4. Since there is no knight sacrifice. Now, of course, I need to then include this to unpin myself, allowing them to do a move they want to do, but yeah. And then knight f4, allowing them to enter here, or knight g4. But yeah, at least after knight h, although knight h5, knight h5 would like help my king position a lot. So yeah, getting that ID in. This is a for sure key defensive ID. Then after that, like if the knight is attacked, it can go or back to here. It looks like it's 3 squares. So after sacrifices, it could then go back to g7. Not the greatest square, but at least it's an extra piece at that point. So, and it defends my king. And as long as they don't have like a quick rook shift. So yeah, need to decide what to do against rook c1. Think I'm just gonna get that pawn on e2. Like it also, it's raises their stakes a lot it's now at that point any endgame is directly winning probably. Even a lot of endgames where I need to give a pawn back, but yeah. Still the reasonable move for them. Yeah, getting my queen back to here would be great. And it's not, I don't see directly a next move for them. It's also not that my queen position here helps them with any rook lifts. It would be others on a pawn. Although, of course, here the square is now defended, but okay, now they go for this. So knight f4. What's their idea? Of course, now they have like infiltrations here. But I also, maybe I'm threatening this. Not sure. It's a little bit, you could see it as a soft cheating from this, like putting that thing here. I'm gonna use it. Makes visualization a little bit easier. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do this, but just as a like a quick blunder check. I leave this square open. Is it that? Don't think it's enough of a threat. Actually, and they have some ideas of. They have actually ideas. This could be that they sometimes just can give up actually the rook. So maybe I sometimes just need to take here instead. Defending the f6 square. Yeah, and so if this rook moves back, now I have queen d5. And if this rook... Oh, no. Yeah, no. I have here the check. Although they then can go back, but... And if they don't... If they block with the rook back... Now I think I can go here. Or I actually have even... No, I don't have this check, but... then I assume... Yeah. Lines where I can get my queen here. Should be safe for me. Actually, no, that doesn't. Yeah, but so after this, I think I need to take here. Since this, yeah, let's say they move the king, right? Doesn't matter that much where I take, and this is just a too brutal of a check. There is a chance I can do this, actually, but since at that point I gave up a lot of material. Maybe, actually. Okay, so I need to calculate deeper. Although this maybe feels safe enough. It's straight pawns. And I still don't see like their way in. The knight on g4. Oh no. Oh no. Of course, this allows this check here. Still don't see. Then they have this here actually. After knight g4, no. Okay. Okay, they go for this, but then I add this. And yeah, that's... Yeah, okay, this is GG. This is just game over. Since I threatened mate 2. I actually had missed and didn't see that from advance, but yeah, if I can trade. This is a forced queen trade. And that's... yeah, my pawns are just winning. This should be easy enough to convert. Just put my hooks behind and start pushing them. And my knight on d5 will be a monster. Like it stops any counter pair they aren't here, so yeah. Like I think I don't resign as white here, but I think GMs like in a GM game they just resign here the position. Except if I'm missing something like extraordinary, but I really don't see it. Yeah, since often this pawn is still just falling even. Like, I don't even need to rush with this. Yeah, but I think, since, yeah, going for this pawn, although I think I can almost by force win it. But yeah, that would allow rook c7 counterplay, which would be silly to do. But yeah, I put just... Maybe start with rook b. Okay, think can do this directly. I'm not like assuming they will resign here, but think I put the king on g7. Keep the option of like going to the center. Also now knight f6 would be like a potential tempo. No, this is not a potential check for them. Of course, yeah, I think just logical move. Yeah, the question is, do I want rook b8 or do I just start pushing the pawns? Probably rook b8 is the... I guess the idea is f4. Which is an idea. Although I guess with that in the end. Like if I push a5, now they maybe can attack here, rook b8, rook b5, and sort of. Oh, I just then start pushing this pawn. Although they then block and then But yeah, I feel the moment, even if at some point I would I think create a runner. I guess an actual ID they have is 93. Yeah, there are some. I need to be, yeah, the only thing I need to be aware about that they somehow can be fast enough to get both rooks to the 7th. Hard to imagine. That's, yeah, the reason I thought I already have like one extra tempo in towards queening. Okay, so they do that. Oh, that's actually a nice idea. Rook d8, take, rook c7, now rook b5. And if they now at some, yeah, the rook now can switch back to f5 if necessary. Can also, of course, trade and push here. But yeah, I feel it's okay. Let's calculate this. a5, rook here, b5. Say here. No, that's then I easily. Yeah, anywhere where the rook goes. Yeah, no, it shouldn't be. Okay, so push a4 here, b5, and then anywhere where the rook goes on the 7th, I put my other rook. Then they can double, I trade, and I just push. So that's easy enough. Yeah. Don't make it more difficult than it should be. Pawn should be pushed. There's no way they can. Yeah, okay. This. I guess this. Now they decided to go passive. I can do this. Yeah, now they have this rook b6 idea, which I mentioned earlier. Yeah, that was maybe it's still not. Maybe a little bit unnecessary to do it like this. a3, f rook a7 also. They go here. Okay, so let's, so a3, take, that doesn't go since a2 just wins. a3, okay, no, rook a7 I wanted to do, right? Rook b6. Oh, that's okay. Everything, of course, still wins, but I don't like and then I can go rook a7 once this rook goes passive. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah, they also have like weaknesses all over the board. Maybe I should have not traded here, but also 7 minutes should be more than enough here. No need to panic. My comps. It was our last week's opponent, right? Who beat in a very nice game our board won. So yeah, any move that attacks the people and I just push and they can't take because a2 and yeah, the pawn is easy earner. So I think yeah, rook b6 is probably the most challenging option. And I still play a3, basically forcing rook a2. Then I was planning on rook a7. If they don't play, if they do like rook c7, no, I probably have just b5 even. Should be very easy. Any other move, yeah, basically any move except, yeah, of course, rook b2, then b5 doesn't make any sense. Then I play e3. Or rook b6, yeah, since now b5 is illegal, then I play e3. Oh, yeah, I guess rook c5 is also a move. I wouldn't play b5, but yeah, rook c5 doesn't make any sense, of course. I might even play, oh, I guess that's a move that stops. Stops b5. Another move I didn't suggest yet. Yeah, might make some sense. like it stops a potential idea I had with g4, king f7, but that was not really my main idea anyway, but it stops that. I think I still play e3, so they are still forced to play rook e2. Then I play rook a7. Yeah, I thought, yeah, I always at least can get my rook over, my king over here, but it's not that easy actually. Here. So now, yeah, both my rooks are like defending. Not that active. Yeah, my rook on a7. But yeah, there at least it's S squares. Okay. But at least now maybe I can go here. Then they still have this one. Now anyway I need to go here, so it doesn't do that much for me. I think we started this. See what they do. Yeah, my two pawns are disconnected. G4. Guess their king like sort of can get in around here. Can't imagine that it could be a draw, but don't see the win yet either. Don't see how I win this, but okay. As the king is going here. Good, good. Does it ever make sense to play b6? No, since then this. And I can defend to both pawns. Oh no, I think I know what I want to do. I'm gonna put here, and then after this check I can go here. Because then they can go here. So maybe I should prepare it with this. Okay. Actually, I can also start creating pass pawns over here. Something like rook f8. Yes. This, do they go here? So rook f8. Let's see here. Or this. f5. Can actually also just go after this pawn. Let's see. Rook c8. Rook here. Rook here. Guess they have done this potentially. Yeah, maybe just in time. Then I still have f5. Do I go f5 here? Rook f8. How does this somehow still a game? It's annoying. Probably, yeah, mostly because last week and probably more difficult, but also a rook endgame where I was 2 pawns up, which I couldn't convert. So yeah, not being, if I wouldn't be able to do it 2 times in a row, that would be very disappointing. Oh, maybe idea could have been to wait until, but yeah, it was not that easy to make waiting moves, but to use the king going here and then put the rook actually on a6. So yeah, if they don't, for example, if they not do a king move now, I maybe can do that maneuver. Yeah, or at least yeah, put it on c6 and then yeah, c6 that would be. Since now I also have rook c7. King c7. So here, king e2. Oh, they go for the. What's the idea of that? Don't I have just rook c6? I happily trade one pair of rooks off. No, don't. And yeah, after this, I still can go for this plan, but I also have this optional. Guess. Yeah, now I can use the rook to push this pawn, and if I get this pawn to b4, it's an easy win. Of course, I need to like make sure the king isn't like spalling, but I think I can do that. Yeah, I think this maneuver is an improvement for me. It's way better than having the rooks on a8 and a7. Since here, yeah, the hooks were stuck. Now this hook can move, and then the pawn can follow. And okay. So rook a5, king here maybe. Then I can do check. They of course have like e5 and so, but don't think that does anything. I guess after b5 now. Yeah, no, but yeah, at least now I can get a king behind without like blocking my hooks. Maybe it's still not that easy actually. I also have this, almost putting them in zugzwang. Yeah, that's actually very close to putting them in zugzwang. Since here I have b5. Of course they have done the check. But then I can just go here. Then I can go back. Yeah. I think I can still go for these zugzwang IDs after. Oh no. So b5. So rook a5. Let's say they pass. They have difficulty with passing, but b5 here, and after the check, now this is a bit annoying. Oh no, I can then I can just grab these pawns, I think. Yeah, I think both are interesting. Hook a4 and no, maybe this. Like, what are they how are they passing? Since after this, I even have now hook a5. And after this, I just push and... Hello, my rook. Okay, I go forward. Guess sort of this. I go here. Don't really want to allow them checks. Guess now the king can go forward. And they have this idea now. Although not really. Always my pawn just pawns. Okay. Now I can go forward with the king. There's no check here. Yes. And yeah, one of after rook b4 I can just trade b5 and you can take this pawn, of course, since that would be a very easy king and pawn endgame win. Okay. So now I think I can do b5. Can also go here, but then no. After this, I think I can just go to b6. Also, I have just rook d7 now. Yeah, that looks very good. Rook d7 next move. Although, yeah, there was not really a way how. Although I guess this. Rook d7, take. Just take. take. They trade. This rook is so passive. And if they take with the other rook, yeah, even if they like do the, then yeah, no, I'm just starting to trade both rooks. So I guess no, always nice detail that in case of like, for example, trading once here, and then the this. That was so strange. Like this confirm move. Yeah, I don't see. I think that should be good enough. Still hook move. I push. Any capture here, capture here. And yeah, again, all king and pawn in the games, of course, very easily winning for me. I still have like a pawn here, my king just captures everything. Don't need it. I don't even need these two pawns, but capping this is enough, but I can grab them all. Okay. So yeah, but so for example, now they could go for this and try to attack here, but I still have like this, so it doesn't work. Yeah, of course they still needed to go for this, otherwise I would just get this pawn for free, so. But I think here I simplified the position a lot for me. Also, next move I'm just gonna grab this pawn, except if they go completely passive, but then I could go for this pawn even. Yeah, so this. So now they probably need to go here, but yeah, I can then cap this pawn. I basically have no weaknesses in the position and all their pawns are weak. Yeah. What? What's this? Oh, wow! No, I blundered. I think I'm fine, but I now realized I blundered. What? Holy shit. I just had beta I had this move, but although then, yeah, then they had here. Yeah, oh wow. But after g5 I'm not gonna capture, I'm just gonna push. And or do I start with, I think I start with this one, right? After capturing, then no. Although then do I then still have enough pawns? Wow. I'm got very lucky here that I'm not just lost. So yeah, after this I can't capture since this pawn promotes. My king is too far. Need to, okay, b4. Yeah, after capturing now my pawn promotes easily. But so this. Now we both have a queen and don't even have an extra pawn anymore. So after this, if they go after this, then I can push my other pawn. But now they promote first. No. Not necessary. Yeah. And if I can promote here, then I capture this pawn. But they can also just push like here. I think I just push here. No, I need to win a Greenland game. Well, yeah. Oh, how I got from that position in this position. Oh. Queen actually is like on an amazing square here. Defends both my weaknesses. That's kinda... Okay. think I start with pushing this one. Yeah, I first want to know for which... I probably will need to sacrifice a pawn so I can promote with check. But I first want to know which pawn they push. So if they capture here, now I push here, they need to stop me. Well, then maybe they don't need to stop me, then they can go here. Promote, promote. This is a little bit more forcing. I need to go here. I go here. Since after this, let's say here now they don't need, they can, yeah, I go. So yeah, I still will promote first, but it will be... I think they probably now need to go for g6. And take this pawn. Although, oh yeah, so now I want to do this. Then don't think this. Oh yeah, now they can go for this. Actually. Mm. So if they go here, oh, I push. If they push, oh no! Wow, what? Completely miscalculated this. This is stupid. Although after, if I don't do this, yeah, it could be that it's just a draw actually. Since I get the first check, but it will be only 2 against 2. Nice resource of them. This doesn't make any sense, right? Because then they just take here. And they have the first check. I think I want to check. And this pawn is also just gonna push. And their queen defends now both the pawns. And the problem is, like, I can win this pawn, but then the pawn will again be too far. So I think I'm gonna need to give perpetual. Since my king is probably too far away to do anything. To give any mating IDs. I think that like their next 2 moves, when I'm not a check, they just push 2 times and I have absolutely nothing. Okay. Yeah. There is no way. hating myself here. And I put the queen on square, the king on squares where there is no. Yeah, but that doesn't work. They don't even need to check. They can just go queen g8 when the pawn is here. Like my king is just way too far off this pawn still. Don't need to give the direct perpetual, I think. Although, no. But I can't, after this, now they have this check, and I can't take. Or here. Because after the trade, my king again would be out of the box. So here, check, here. Yeah, that would be a problem. So after this, then there would no. Oh no, then. Yeah, but if I trade here now, my king is at least in the box. So okay. So that doesn't like risk losing or anything. But yeah, I don't see how I have any winning chances here. But so after this, I think I can take. Or this check the same. But yeah, of course, they don't do that. And now I can't take because the pawn just pummels. I can go here. Probably I should just take the perpetual here, but since probably I'm here the one that's worse actually, so. And let's see what I do. It's not that I even can make like blunders or anything, I think. So I'm not sure about what I'm playing on. Since I easily can blunder here. Is their king getting into here? Is it dangerous? Maybe not. Okay. I really don't know what I'm doing, but except making some moves. It's not even it's more out of tilt I'm playing on. But that can sometimes be a decent thing. To just play some more moves. So here, check. Is this ever risky to take this pawn? Don't think so. And I assume I still always have a perpetual. Yeah, and also next. Guess I can go here, keep defending the pawn, attack this pawn. But then I still should have perpetuals. Yes. Don't think they have any like checks or something. Maybe. But yeah, I'm never really threatening to give checkmate. Okay. Probably good move. Since now I need to, of course, look out that I don't blunder a perpetual. Queen trade, I was saying. But on this square they are not, like if I can get my queen here, they're not threatening any queen trades. And after this capture I can take this pawn and actually, let's start with this check. Okay. it's so safe as can be for them. Like my king can never get in that direction. And my king also never can help with any checkmates here, so what am I even doing? What am I even trying? Absolutely nothing. I'm basically trying them to unsuccessfully try to play for the win. That's what I'm trying. But yeah, it's probably too much wishful thinking. It's time maybe to just okay. No, I don't even have that much checks. I have none actually, so maybe I successfully yeah, this was gonna be my move anyway. Could be that I actually got close to managing to get into troubles. They don't have any checks either. So. Oh yeah, no good checks. They have a lot of bad checks, but I have all the checks covered. Right, but I think queen g7 here. And then I probably need to start giving perpetual. Oh, and then now my king can move. Oh no. But after, okay, they go there. Now they have checks. And I still have no checks. Oh no. Did I mess this up? No. They have only this check, right? But after that check, they have none next this check. Oh no. Ouch. Okay. I maybe successfully overplayed. So I think I need to go away and make sure. And after this, they have this check also. Ugh. Yeah, I think I messed up. Oh no. If I go up, check, and then I have this still. Maybe it's not. And after this, check. And I have nothing. Damn it. Why did I do this to myself? Since I have also this check. Maybe I can still move the queen away somehow. No, that doesn't do anything. I assume it's still, I still messed up here. Oh yeah, that doesn't do anything. Oh. Yeah, this is, why? That didn't stop anything. This was not even a good attempt. Why? Like, I knew I was actually at the worst side and I still decided to play on. That's like, why do we do that? It's so tilted. It's just pure tilt. Actually, it's actually not in. Can't win in 50 moves, but I know. No. It's so stupid, this. How Queen x2 was actually a mistake. Knight h5 here worked. But yeah, that's difficult, I think, to see. Why does it work here? Yeah, the engine doesn't even take, so that's not very revealing. I guess, yeah, the rook. Right. No, I don't understand that at all. How that this work. It's my rook also just can. Yeah, I have no idea why I decided to play on. Like, I fully knew I was the war side of the Queen endgame and I still decided to play on. There was no way that no, of course this was all winning. B4. even although you're just winning a rook, and then yeah. Instead of rook, yeah. But yeah, it's just I played rook f4 and then I realized what I had done. Yeah. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm not gonna look more at this. Can't. Yeah. See you next time. But this is. Yeah. I'm sorry.